And welcome back into the Better Half Hour, my favorite segment where we bring you veterans in the sports betting space that win more than they lose. You've seen them on this show. You've seen them on the Betting Exchange. We're known as the AA batteries around here. Welcome back, Alex Glaze. Alex, great to be with you, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Always happy to join you. You're on a heater right now, so I should be asking you the questions. You should be telling me what I should be betting this weekend.
Hey, I appreciate it. You know how this game goes. You're up, you're down. It's like a Disneyland roller coaster over here. Same thing as my hair. All right, so your Ravens are underdogs for the second straight week, and it hasn't happened in Vegas like that since 2019. A lot of injuries. Need you to give me your Baltimore veteran insight here on this Packers #1 cover coming to town.
I mean, this is a complete stay away game for me. I've been doing this long enough to know that when the number's too good, it's too good to be true. It was 4.5 just a couple minutes ago, moved up to the Packers laying 5.5, but that still seems really low for me. When you look at this Ravens defense, they've been one of the worst defenses against the pass this season. And look at that secondary. You got Deshaun Elliott out, Marlon Humphrey out, Marcus Peters out, and then Chuck Clark just getting added to the COVID list today. So who's in the secondary? I mean, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and those receivers should have a field day. The Ravens don't have a consistent pass rush, so this line just stinks to me, so I'm staying away.
All right, and let's shift to a AFC old-school rivalry here between the Colts and the Patriots. Patriots on an absolute heater themselves. They won 7 straight and 7 straight covers. They go against a Colts team that's been alternating wins and losses for 7 weeks straight here. Belichick's had an extra week off to prepare for this. Should the Patriots be the underdogs, and do you have a lean in that one?
Well, the Colts were actually favored when this line opened, and they were bet on so much that the line flipped. So now you got the Patriots catching points, and I'm going to take the points with Bill Belichick because, like you said, he's had that extra time to prepare. And if there's one thing we know about Bill Belichick, when he has that extra time, he's going to take away what's your greatest strength. And what's the Colts' greatest strength? Jonathan Taylor. So I think when I look at this game, he is going to make Carson Wentz beat him. And this Patriots secondary, they're good in the pass. They're good against the run. So I'm going to take the 2.5 points with the Patriots here. I think they're going to win this game outright, but I'll pocket the 2.5 points.
I love that. I'm on the Patriots as well, and I love to hear the endorsement. Okay, this Cardinals team coming off a loss, short week here, but they travel to Detroit. I can't believe I'm saying this, but a 1-win team is a top 8 cover. It is a double-digit spread, but the Cardinals are undefeated against the spread on the road. They're 3-0 against the spread after an outright loss this season. Can they cover this number? What say you?
I don't think so. 13 points is a ton of points in the NFL. I mean, like you said, the good news is they are going on the road where they've been better this season. But I just can't bring myself to lay the 13 points with them in this spot. Cardinals on a short week. We all know about the DeAndre Hopkins news. He's going to be out for the rest of this season. And I don't know if you noticed this, but Kyler Murray had a little bit of a limp to him in that Monday night game. So I don't know if that ankle is completely right. So I'm not going to lay 13 points just because I'm not sure what we're going to get from Kyler. He looked good, but on a short week, it doesn't have that right amount of time to heal. So I'm not laying the points.
Yeah, no D-Hop either. We'll see how that impacts the offense. Okay, let's talk generally here. The favorites against the spread have been dominating last week particularly. Overall, though, in the last 2 weeks, on a -3.5 spread or more, 9-0. How do you let that impact you or not going into this weekend slate?
I really don't. First of all, if you look at this weekend slate, we're not seeing a whole lot of 3.5s. A lot of short numbers the past couple of weeks. We definitely do not have that this week. So we got to navigate not only big numbers, but we're navigating division rivals playing each other with these big numbers. So that makes things a lot more difficult. Public's had a good couple of weeks, but that regression, I have a feeling, is going to be coming very quickly.
And a team that needs a win in a big way here, the Bills, coming off back-to-back losses. And however, they are all their wins this year, double-digit wins. It's a double-digit number. Panthers just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. No McCaffrey, of course. Which way you going on that one in Buffalo?
Yeah, I like the Bills to bounce back in this spot. I think this is a good spot for them to get a win and to cover. Cam Newton, the Cam Newton return hasn't been great for the Panthers, and that defense that started off the season really strong has given up 27 or more points in each of their past 3 games. So I like this spot for Josh Allen and the Bills to rack up some points and get right.
And we got a huge playoff implication AFC battle here. Steelers hosting the Titans. And the Titans have not fared well against the Steelers in recent memory. Lost 3 straight. It's almost a pick 'em. I'm seeing it around 2. Which do you go in this one? Kind of a win or go home for Pittsburgh at this point.
Yeah, this line's been moving around quite a bit. Mike Tomlin earlier in the week was catching points at home, which I took those points. We'll get to that a little bit later. I took that because Mike Tomlin covers at home at a 66% rate, especially as a home dog. So I love that. But the Titans, they're just not very good ever since they lost Derrick Henry. That was obviously a big loss for them. A.J. Brown not with them too is another big loss. So they lost a lot of those offensive weapons that they were going to be relying on at the beginning of this season. They just haven't looked the same, and they've actually looked pretty bad over the past couple weeks. They beat the Jags, but then lost to the Patriots and the Texans. So I like the Steelers with their backs against the wall in a must-win game, like you said.
And I'll get you here out on this. Where are you in relation to a team that's kind of on the fringe of making a playoff run? You can call it a 7-6 team, a couple of them out there, maybe even a 6-7 team. Any stock you're buying in teams before we go into this weekend that you would say, I think can make the playoffs, I like the value?
Well, it was going to be the Browns, but they have a little bit of a COVID situation right now, so not necessarily going to buy in on them. But really, any of those AFC North teams, I mean, it's so wide open in the AFC, specifically the North. I would sprinkle on the Bengals a little bit, even the Steelers. I mean, it's just going to come down to who's healthier at the end, because that's going to figure itself out over the next couple of weeks because all those teams play each other. And
is there a play you like real quick going into break?
Yeah. I already locked in a teaser. Like I said, I had the Steelers. I teased them up to 7.5, and I added the Cardinals and teased them down to 6.5. So I got through that key number of 7 and got the Steelers through 3 and 7.
I love that. All right,
or no,
Alex
not through 7,
Glaze,
6.5.
always bring in the info and the value. We'll be right back here on the Better Half Hour. I'm grading the top covers going into this weekend. Don't go anywhere. We'll be